I think in terms of that changing marketplace and the competitive side of things, across the board everybody seems to have more and more and more competition, and also it's a very common message that we've been hearing from multiple different types of providers as such, whether they be in the groceries industry or the leisure or the hospitality or whatever they're doing. Everybody seems to have a very common set of circumstances, that's what we say. And I think managing it's a bit of a cliche, but the omni-channel approach, i.e. making sure that your online experience matches your in-store experience and your after-sales process are all inherent and follow the same mechanism. So your strategy and your definition should support all channels that you are interfacing with customers. That's probably one thing for me. The second and the biggest thing that I've been talking to a lot of our delegates about over the last couple of days is really the availability of data, but more importantly, what you do with it. If I've heard it once and I had $1 for each time that I'd heard it, big companies that you would be extraordinarily surprised that say, yeah, we've got so much data. And my follow-up question is, what do you do with it? And it's quite alarming for them and for us to hear that they do practically nothing with it. So they're spending time, effort and money to gauge information, voice of the customer in their customer experience programs, credible information that sits in a report and never gets utilised to actually affect a difference. What we actually do in our organisation is part of it is to help understand what that data is and translate it. But for me, if you have a report and it does nothing in terms of generating information or action, don't do the report. So probably one of the biggest things for me that I've talked to people about over the last 2 days in our appointments is your voice of the customer in whatever guise that is, whether it's Net Promoter or customer satisfaction programs or forums, is it has to generate an interest to tell you if you have a problem or to identify opportunities to enhance your program. And if you don't have an engine that does something with that, whether it's a group of people in your organisation or a consultancy company who can help you understand, don't do it in the first place, because you're going to get information, you're going to find things out, and you're not going to action it, which is, in terms of customer experience, criminal. So those are probably the two biggest things for me. Make sure your customer experience strategy is defined, meets the corporate strategy head on, and it supports it, but manage it across all of the channels that you interface. And then finally, not just the analytics, but if you've got credible data, look at it, understand it, and do something with it that will affect your customer experience.